Welcome to this week's how-to. I have got my little basket. I've got some gloves, which are very important for this task. And I thought we could pick some chestnuts, we could roast them, and we could make stuffing. And it's all about getting ahead, getting organised. And I hate to mention the C word, but it's creeping up quite rapidly now. And this is something that you can do in advance. You can pop in the freezer, or you can just enjoy it for a delicious Sunday, with a delicious Sunday roast, or midweek. And actually I've just spotted, Lola has as well, a chestnut on the floor. I know, the dogs actually love eating them. So I have my work cut out to fend the dogs off and collect chestnuts in my little basket. So anyway, let's get collecting. They come in these very, very, very prickly cases, which is why the gardening gloves are essential. And these, I find them really useful. I get them from, I think I normally buy them in mall country stores, somewhere like that. I use them for the horses, but they protect your hands when you are dealing with. See, I have my work cut out with the dogs because they love eating them so much, but you really do need your gloves on. They are very, very prickly. You want to go for the slightly bigger ones. Oh, there's Rosie getting in front of the screen. No, girls, it's not, no. See, I've only brought the Labradors with me because Penny and Florence find them quite prickly walking on the chestnuts, and you actually need to wear a tin hat because they are falling out of the sky at the moment in abundance. So you have got to have your wits about you, but we are really lucky to have these wonderful chestnut woods right beside the house, and so it is great to come and forage for them. But yes, they are in a very, very prickly outer. Let me find a good one. So sometimes they've already split open, or you can just tease them apart, but it's a little bit like dealing with a hedgehog. I'm not going to keep that tiny little one. I'm going to leave that for, and that one, and I'm just going to take the big one. I'm going to leave that for the squirrels. But here, we'll just prise this one open and pick out those chestnuts. Absolutely wonderful, and I'm so passionate about seasonal produce, and it's amazing what nature provides throughout the year, and it's wonderful to come out, be able to forage for chestnuts and then make something delicious with them. So I'm going to crack on, forage away, and see you back in the kitchen. So I'm back with my basket, having had a forage for chestnuts. Dogs are all here, very excited. Now I'm going to show you how I prepare them to roast them and then peel them, because there's a knack, and I think I found the easiest way, and I want to share that with you. So let's prepare them. So I popped half, because I don't need them all, into a colander. We're just going to give them a good rinse under the tap. Give them a good shake off and let them just sit and let the water drip off for a moment. It's a little bit like Blue Peter here. These are some that I prepared earlier, but I want to show you how to prepare them. I've got an oven tray there at the Reading, a chopping board and a sharp knife. Get the flat side of the chestnut and just score from the top down to the bottom. And you'll see lots of recipes that say put a cross in them, but actually I find this way the easiest and the quickest. So just score top to bottom and then pop it onto your oven tray, and just do the same with all of them. Now these ones have already been roasted and I've just let them cool. Now you can see that that is just so easy to pull off. And there you are, you have got your chestnut. Now, if it doesn't come out as easy as that, you can use a spoon, a teaspoon, and just scoop it out. It depends whether you want whole chestnuts or whether you're quite happy to have bits of chestnut. And actually for this recipe, I want bits of chestnut rather than whole chestnuts anyway, so it's perfect and actually really easy to scoop out with the spoon. But it's best done while they're still warm, And sometimes you might need to just, when they are warm, you can just put your knife through just to split them open. It is really, well, if you're doing lots of them, you can really hurt inside your nails by pulling them apart, and you know, this way, just slicing them and then scooping out, you're not going to hurt your fingers, because trust me, when you've done a few hundred of these, your fingers will get quite sore. Now you can buy these shop bought, ready prepared, but it is so lovely, and there's nothing more satisfying than actually going out in the fresh air, having a good forage, collecting your own, roasting them, and then using them for your recipe. So if you have chestnuts near you, now is the time. It is chestnut season, and so I urge you to go out and have a look and collect some, but do take a pair of gloves with you, because those cases are unbelievably prickly. I mean, I've got asbestosy fingers and I can't even touch it. It literally is so unbelievably spiky, but I think nature is so clever. So look, this one, really easy just to split open. You can cut them when you're preparing them. You can cut down, like literally down the center, and roast them like that. But I think the little cross, and you get another teaspoon. If it's quite a small chestnut, you can just use the end of the teaspoon just to poke it out. I think when you put a little cross on, it's actually harder, and it's much easier if you just slice. I have found this the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to pop on some tunes and carry on preparing my chestnuts. I want 150 grams of chestnuts for my stuffing, so I shall fill up my bowl, measure it out, and then we will make our chestnut stuffing. When you've sliced all of your chestnuts, pop them in a roasting tray and roast them in a hot oven, about 180 for 20 to 25 minutes. I use the roasting oven of my Aga, and then let them, once they've roasted, let them cool a little bit so you can touch them, but it's much easier to do them when they're warm. And if you run out of time to do them all, if you've done like a big tray, you can always pop them back in the oven for a few minutes, let them warm up, and then go again, if that makes sense. But it is so much easier if you split them down the middle, and then you can just pull them apart. And I actually find it much easier to kind of spoon out the inside, and then you don't have the skin on either. So that is the easiest way I have found. But I've got my Magimix out, and we're going to make some breadcrumbs, 100 grams of breadcrumbs, and I'm actually just using some sourdough that I have left over, just some white sourdough, but you can use any breadcrumbs for this. If you make extra, breadcrumbs freeze brilliantly, so pop it in a tub or whatever that you want to use to freeze. I use silicone bags or freezer bags or something like that, and just label them, and then you can just pull them out when you need some breadcrumbs, which is really handy. So if you've got some bread that's just going a little bit stale, make some breadcrumbs with it, and that works brilliantly. You need to concentrate on what I'm doing and now, I have got these brilliant herb scissors. They don't have a make on them. I don't know where I got them, somewhere online, and I find it really handy for chopping up herbs. We want the equivalent of a tablespoon of fresh sage. Always a good idea to grow sage in the garden and just have on hand to pick, and you can just chop like this, or with a knife. My knife skills are terrible, so I find these scissors terribly handy, and that is probably enough. Available on my website, I have got my Christmas planner, and this has got my favourite Christmas recipes, and there's a stuffing recipe in here. This one uses thyme, sausage meat, apricots and chestnut, but this is just a chestnut and sage stuffing for you today. But in my planner, I share helpful tips with you about getting organised for Christmas, what you can do in advance, and what you can do in advance and then freeze to make Christmas less stressful. I created this to make Christmas less stressful, because when I was first doing Christmases as a mother and the children were tiny, I found it awful. Sometimes I just wanted to hide. It was too much, it was too stressful, it was too full on. Everybody wanted something from me and I was utterly frazzled, and so I put systems in place to try and make Christmas far more enjoyable for a young mum. So we didn't have family that would come and help and do stuff. It was all on me, and I would be hosting a lot that were unhelpful and just wanted to be waited on. And then the children were trying to open their presents and they were saying, "Mummy, can you help me build this? And can you help do that?" I'm like, ah. So this was what I created to make life less stressful, my Christmas planner, to get ahead, get organised and make it as enjoyable as possible. There are so many tips and great recipes in here, and so I thought I'd just share that. I will link it in the description of this video. I also have a Christmas New Year planner. Let me get mine. Also available on my website, and this is for you to use to plan your Christmas card list, your Christmas shopping, your guest list, your menus, your budget, food and drink, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, Christmas Eve, and through to New Year. And this is, there's enough pages in here for 5 years, so you can look back. I mean, look, I really do use mine. It's all my scribbles of Christmas card lists and things. I find it really, really, really helpful to just, you know, use, look back on, plan, get organised. Great for thank you cards, you know, writing lists of thank you presents that you need to write, all sorts packed full in here. So I will leave that linked as well. Get organised, and this recipe is one that you can save. I will leave it so you can print it off. So again, if you go into the description of this video, if you're watching on a laptop or a phone, it's really easy to go into the description of the video, and then you can just print it off and keep it to hand. You can make your stuffing ahead, pop it in the freezer, and then voila, you can just whip it out and it's done, it's organised, and it's saved you one thing. You know, you can tick off the list. I don't put the stuffing inside the bird. So if we're cooking a chicken, you know, just as a normal Sunday roast, I would do this stuffing, but I would do it in an oven tray or a tin or something like that, rather than filling the carcass of the bird, because it slows the cooking down. You want to get the air through the bird. It's going to cook better, it's going to cook more evenly. If you stuff lots of stuffing inside, it slows the cooking down, and I just find it much easier to do it separate. So that's the way I've always done it. But it's personal preference. It's what you get used to. It's what you know, are familiar with and what works for you. But I always do my stuffing in a separate, and I just find it easier that way. Then it's perfect to go into the freezer, and you can just defrost it, whack it in the oven, and voila, you don't have to like then try and stuff the bird and what have you. It's just more straightforward, I think. So use a large pan and just heat it up. I'm going to add in a large knob of butter and a glug of olive oil. I've got a large onion that I have finely chopped. We're going to add that in and just start to cook it a little. I don't want it to brown, I just want it to start to soften. At this stage, I'm going to add in a good pinch of sea salt. In fact, I'm actually going to go in with 2 pinches of sea salt. I always salt my onions as they start to cook. Cook your onions on a medium to high heat for a couple of minutes. That's just starting to soften, so I'm going to add in my breadcrumbs, 100 grams of breadcrumbs, my sage, about a tablespoon of chopped sage, and then 150 grams of your prepared chestnuts. So if you're buying shop bought, just chop them up. Season generously with black pepper. Cook that through for a moment or two. Actually going to add another glug of olive oil. Take it off the heat. I've got a humongous egg from one of our hens. I'm just going to crack that into a little bowl and beat it with a fork. And then add that in. It's looking like that. Give it a good mix through so it's combined. And then if you're doing a roast immediately and you want to stuff the bird, then at this stage you would stuff the carcass of the bird. But as we've talked about it, I'm going to use this oven tin and just transfer all of that into there. Sorry, I've got the camera the wrong way around for you to see, but I'll show you in a moment. And then I'm just going to kind of spread that out sort of evenly like that, and into a hot oven, 180 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm using the roasting oven of my Argo, which is my top right. In it goes. Always remember to set a timer, and I'll be back with you in 25 minutes. There we are, the stuffing is done. It is looking golden on top and absolutely perfect. It's had about 20 minutes. My oven is running quite hot at the moment. It has been on overnight to be up to temperature for me for today. So yeah, 20 to 25 minutes. Now, if you are getting ahead, getting organised and freezing this, you want to let it fully cool, cover it, label it and pop it in the freezer. Always label everything that's in your freezer because you can very easily forget what is in there. But that is stuffing, and if you are enjoying it now, then I hope you love it and find it delicious. Remember that the recipe is linked in the description of this video and available on my website. Now, those leftover breadcrumbs I popped into a Tupperware. I have got a label on the top, and I'm just going to label them and say sourdough breadcrumbs and the date. Those are ready to go straight into the freezer. So I really hope that you have enjoyed this week's how-to. I love being in the kitchen. Let me know in the description of this video if there are recipes that you would like me to share with you. If you'd like me to share some of my favourite Christmas recipes to get ahead and get organised on, let me know in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. Have a super week. Remember to tune in on Friday because it is the big reveal and I cannot wait to share it with you. It has been such an exciting project. A little bit tiring, a little bit full on, but I have loved creating it and I cannot wait to share it with you. But until then, have a lovely week and lots of love.